Delsing spent 25 years on the PGA Tour and is a lifetime member of the PGA Tour and PGA of America. Now he provides his unique perspective as a golfer and network broadcaster. It's time to go on the range with Jay Delsing.
On the Range is brought to you by Pro-Am Golf.
Hey, good morning, St. Louis. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay. I got Pearlie with me. Brad Barnes is pushing and moving the dials. Bro, what is he doing over there?
Pushing and moving the dials.
Yeah, he looks busy all the time, but
that's his job.
Do you think we really need him?
Yes, I'm positive we do.
Me too. Okay, never mind. Anyway, we formatted the show like Around the Golf, and the first segment is called the On the Range segment, and it's brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. Check us out on our social media outlets. Twitter is at Jay Delsing. Facebook is Golf with Jay Delsing and Jay Delsing Golf. LinkedIn is Jay Delsing. It's a lot of Jay Delsing there, Pearlie May. And Instagram is Nobody Cares. All right, here's the show. I'm excited to talk about the match 2. Just happened this past weekend. But I've got some interesting takeaways from it. We're going to maybe listen to a few excerpts that I thought were pretty funny.
There was a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah, for absolutely the worst weather you could get, unless it had been lightning. That would have been worse.
Well, then they wouldn't have been able to play.
Yeah. I can't imagine it being worse. 5 people on the golf course, all riding carts. Justin Thomas did a great job with his.
Yes, he did. He brought a lot to it.
He really did. I loved when he said to Barkley, you couldn't get your fat ass up there to dunk right now anyway. And Barkley said, you can't call me fat on TV. That's bullying. I thought that was terrific. But, yes, and we also have an interview with Adam Kramer. Adam is the VP of Amusement for the iconic bar game Golden Tee. And Peter Jacobson was instrumental in putting that whole thing together. His picture came on there. This game was started in 1989. And we were like, Jake, what in the hell? So I called Peter. He's going to come on the show. We'll get an interview with him. And we just have a lot of different stuff, to talk about. Golf's on its way back. But let's just jump into the match first. Okay, so Pearl, I want a different twist on this stuff.
Very different, and I love it.
Yeah, I can't. This has been talked to ad nauseum, and this is not what we want to bring to this show, okay? But we got to listen to a couple of these outtakes because they're really good.
Chuck, I'd love to see your fat ass try to dunk a basketball right now.
Hey, clear.
Dive.
JT, you can't call me fat on TV. That's bullying. I'm going to call HR on you.
That's classic. If anybody's got a lot to be called on at HR, it would be Charles.
No, there's no question.
We don't need to go there today.
Do you remember when he used to do the TNT stuff, Pearl? They backed off and he didn't have any shoes on. He had his nice suit on. He was wearing shorts on the bottom part because he was behind the podium and didn't have any shoes on.
I'm just talking about everything he did between games.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else. There's a whole lot of Charles.
He's a highlight reel.
I lived in Phoenix at the time he played for Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some epic Charles stories.
Yeah, it's great stuff. What about him going after Brady? Let's listen to this.
Hey, Tom, how many shots you want? Come on, man. I'm going to give you some shots, man. I want some of you.
Gotta get going. Chuck, I've been focusing on football, bro. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, man.
Ready to dominate.
I think you just made him mad, Chuck.
Oh, no, I love it, though, man. He can take a joke.
Yeah. Oh, go in! Yeah!
Goodness!
You made it! Wow! Chuck, take a second at Chuck. Chuck.
Hey, man,
Chuck,
that's
Chuck,
awesome.
Shut your mouth, Chuck. Take a little of that medicine. Get your butt out here.
That isn't real.
It cannot happen.
It cannot happen. It's way harder than a hole-in-one.
Oh,
way harder.
Wait a second.
Plus, here's a guy that did not hit a shot that stayed on the golf course.
He has not found the club face in an hour.
He was dying out there. I've been out there like that before when I can't find the club face like at all, and you got to keep playing, but just somehow that was spectacular, and it was such a pure shot. I don't know. The whole match was divine for golf to get us re-going.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's interesting? So I was thinking while I'm watching this, I'm out of the box, and out of my mind. But I was thinking about some of the other quarterbacks that I played with that can really play. Neither of those two are one of them. But I played with John Elway. I got to tell you the story about I got paired with John Elway. I'm walking down on a Wednesday at Riviera.
Great
to
place.
the LA Open.
Great place.
You know, we got to play there in college. It's one of my favorites. And Mark Russell, one of the guys, he was actually refereeing the TaylorMade Drive for Relief.
PGA Tour official.
PGA Tour official for 35, 40 years. Says to me, hey, Jay, do you want to play in the Pro-Am? And I said, sure, hell yeah. I mean, this is my rookie year. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll play in the Pro-Am. I'd love to. And he goes, I said, when am I playing? He goes, now. I was like, hadn't hit any balls. I go, and I had, as you know, I had always let my caddies off on Wednesdays. You and I would go play somewhere else,
right?
When I wasn't in the Pro-Am, and so I didn't. I go, Mark, I don't have a caddy. He goes, I'll have one up there for you. I go, what do you want me to do? He goes, go to the first tee. So he drives me up to the first tee. That was back in the day, Pro. Do you remember all this, especially Fred Couples? He would pull out of every other Pro-Am. My back hurt, because he just did not like
the guys
them.
hated playing the Pro-Ams for good reason. There's a lot of good reasons to hate it.
It is, but I was not one of those guys.
You were great. You were unbelievable.
I love these guys. So I am paired. So this is the LA Nissan Open. I'm paired with a guy named, I think his first name was Mike Thomas. He's the North American CEO of Nissan. Two Japanese fellows that spoke very little English, but they were high officials with Nissan, and John Elway. And I was blown away at so I'm on the first tee, and everybody's expecting Fred Couples, and Jay Delsing walks to the first tee.
I didn't know where you were going. That's brilliant. So you got to contest with that and the tee shot.
Yeah, and the tee shot sucks. You know what I mean?
Tee shot's hard
I aim
shot.
right, and I'm like, if I hook it, great, a little bit. But if I don't, I'm in the trees. I don't care because OB. You look at it left, and it goes OB.
What a tough first. What a tough first swing.
Yeah. Anyway, so. I got to play with John Elway that day, and it was we had a blast. And he can really play. He's a two. Yeah, he can really play. Yeah. And this was back. You got to remember, this was 1985. We're talking, just a couple years ago.
Yeah, a long time.
But and Mark Rippon is also.
I remember that from when they would have those events. There's some guys that could play, and Brady didn't look like he had much of anything, but Pay Dirt looked like he could at least get it around.
Okay, so Pearl, I thought I had a massive head, and I do.
Oh, he has a big head.
Oh my God, his head
is so big it makes the rest of him look really little.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, he needs to play golf with a helmet on.
Then he couldn't get in the cart. You wouldn't get in the cart if he had a helmet on.
I loved some of the comments that he made, though. I thought it was fantastic. And the last thing I want to say about this that has been kicked around way too much, Tiger's jab at Phil when Phil wanted him to mark the ball from 120 yards out. And Tiger's like, I'm not doing it. And then he's like, I got even better for you, Phil. How about if I go, you want me to go mark it with one of my gold medals from the U.S. Open? So you know this, but a lot of our listeners may not. When you win the U.S. Open, you not only get the iconic trophy, you get a gold medal.
I did not know that reference.
Okay, so that's for first place. And do you hear what Phil said? He goes, I got about 6 or 7 of those silver ones if you want to use one of mine, which was a terrific comeback. Yes. But Phil kind of used the shotgun method. He talked
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, good for him, though, because the previous week with just the guys playing was pretty humdrum. I appreciate that these guys put themselves out there a little bit. I felt for Brady because he had to think after about 2 swings. He's like, how fast can I get on a jet and just pretend this never happened?
Where do you think he buys his balls? At Costco? I mean, he had to run through a dozen balls on the front nine. He did not. If he had to keep his score, what does he shoot?
Oh.
On the front nine.
He doesn't finish. What do you mean he doesn't keep his score? 140. 120.
I mean, some of those places, I know the medalists. Some of those places, you're like, just reload. Yeah. And he reloaded and hit the same shot.
Yeah. He had nothing, but it's so interesting. I really appreciated the end of the event when they were all kind of standing there talking about it. And Phil said, he says, it'd be no different than me getting blitzed, trying to throw a pass. He says, I'm going to die.
No question.
Here you guys don't die. And, he needs to say that because that's how hard that is. And as you said, they throw the weather in on top of that. Playing in the rain.
Oh, bro.
by the way, under pressure is beyond difficult.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. The only thing they were missing was probably a 30-mile-an-hour wind that you could get down there in South Florida.
Well, they had a little bit of that kind of wandering around up in the trees.
As the match was ending, the rain subsided and the wind kicked in. Well, shoot, we didn't even get to some of these takes, so we'll cover those later in the show. But that's going to do it for the On the Range segment. Don't go anywhere. We got this interview with Adam Kramer from Golden Tee, and then Pearlie and I will break that down and talk a little bit more about the match, too. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Dan McLaughlin, TV voice of the Cardinals. St. Louis is one of the best sports cities in the country. We also have a tremendous history of supporting professional golf. We're excited to bring professional golf back to St. Louis with the inaugural Ascension Charity Classic, September 28th through October 4th at beautiful Norwood Hills Country Club. Legends like Ernie Els, Fred Couples, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, and many more will be in St. Louis. For tickets and sponsorship information, head to AscensionCharityClassic.com. That's AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Are you tired of forking out the big money, all those dollars on golf balls? Well, we finally have an option for you. Let us introduce you to Sniper brand golf balls. This brand new product is a Surlyn-covered ball that is just great to play. It's long off the driver, it's accurate with the irons, and importantly, it's soft around the green. And you know what the best part is? It's just $23.99 for a dozen. That's right, $23.99, and a portion of every sale goes back to a military or law enforcement agency. Find Sniper Brand online at thesniperbrand.com. Plus, you can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their entire line of golf products on their website, thesniperbrand.com. And don't forget to check out the Sniper Brand logo. You're going to love it.
I want to give a huge shout-out and thank you to Whitmore Country Club for sponsoring my show, Golf with Jay Delsing, again for the second year. When you join out at Whitmore, there's 90 holes of golf. You get access to the Missouri Bluffs, the Links of Dardenne, and the Golf Club of Wentzville, and the cart fees are already included in your membership. There's no food and beverage minimums. There's no assessments. They have a 24-hour fitness center, large pool complex, tennis. Man, they've just got great family-oriented stuff. And if you get over there, you got to go in the golf shop, and you have to say hello to my friend Bummer. Bummer is just a delightful guy that will love to help you and your family with your golf game. He and his staff out there run golf leagues, skins games, members tournaments, couples events are available all year long. If your family is looking for a place where you can hang out, have fun, enjoy good food, golf, sports, just a family-friendly atmosphere, you got to go to Whitmore Country Club. You can reach them at 636-926-9622.
We're all experiencing very trying times right now, but hopefully we can reflect a little bit on the things that matter the most to us, like family and community. At St. Louis Bank, we want to wish you and your family safety and good health. We're a part of this community, and we are all in this together. In such uncertain financial times, you've probably never needed your bank to step up and support you more. We know, we hear you, and we are here for you. Our banking experts are doing everything they can to help. We're offering a skip-a-payment to all consumer accounts for mortgage loans and home equity line of credits. We're offering payment modifications with up to a 6-month deferral. Our commercial and SBA loans will be handled on a case-by-case basis to provide the best relief for each unique situation. We understand that communication and speed are essential during this critical time. Get in touch with your commercial banking officer to take advantage of this program. If you'd like to speak with us, you can call 314-851-6200. We are going to move through this hardship, and we're going to do it together. St. Louis Bank, here for you when you need us today and in brighter days ahead.
Grab your clubs. We're headed to the front nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
The Front Nine is brought to you by the Ascension Charity Golf Classic.
Welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Jay and John are here, and we're going to the front nine, which is brought to you by the Ascension Charity Classic. Can't wait for that, Pearlie, the end of September, Norwood Hills. I want to thank Bob and Kathy Donahue at Donahue Painting and Refinishing. Man, they're doing a great, they do some great quality work. So thanks for them supporting the show. And not that those two aren't important, but we got to talk about Whitmore. And the membership at Whitmore gives you access to 90 holes of golf. You get access to the Missouri Bluffs, the Links of Dardenne, and the Golf Club of Wentzville. There's no cart fees included. They've already rolled those fees in there. You also get the 36 holes out at Whitmore. Meat's been playing there a little bit and having a good time. Gave a shout out to Bummer. He went in and you didn't wrestle. You didn't wrestle Bummer at all, did you?
No, not this time. Not this time. Next time I'll get him.
That's like wrestling gators. That's like two bears wrestling.
That'd be a good one. 24-hour fitness center out at Whitmore, large pool complex, 3 tennis courts. You got to go in and see Bummer. Their staff does a great job out there. There's golf leagues, skins games, members tournaments, couples events. They're available all year round. They have that kids club, and that popularity. I can't even tell you how wildly successful that kids club is. So you can drop your children off, and you and your significant other can go have dinner, have a drink, go play golf, play tennis, whatever it is, and your kids are hanging out with other kids. So Whitmore Country Club is the place to go to hang out for you and your family, and you can call them at 636-926-9622.
Okay, what about St. Louis doing a match version like we just saw on TV? You and Bummer, obviously the pros, and then you get some other sports celebrities. Who would you get to be able to pull in as your partner, and who would Bummer get?
My buddy our buddy Bernie Federico just fell off a ladder, broke a bone in his back. And our thoughts and prayers go out to him. He's in a brace for 3 months, no surgery, but
he'll be fine then. Okay.
Yeah, but 3 months, along with the coronavirus. Man,
Bernie. What are you doing on a ladder? Didn't you see those
Bernie's handy as all hell.
Doesn't you see those commercials that you're not supposed to go off on a ladder?
I know. I was on a ladder that week too.
That's definitely not. Yeah, of course, with your flip flops.
Well,
yeah, that's
keep
perfect.
me stable.
Wow.
Stupid.
Don't even go there.
Stupid. It's just dumb. I'm stupid. Anyway. If we had celebrities, oh my gosh, Danny Mac loves golf. Brett Hull loves golf. Depending on the time of year, could you get Randy Carricker? Man, Randy loves golf.
Danny Mac is such a good golfer too. He's a low-key good golfer.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Plays it off.
He does play it off. He doesn't. He's not too chirpy. And then you see him swinging. It's not exactly the most conventional, but he definitely knows how to play. Plus, he's a good athlete.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's just that clean, easy touch off the club. It's perfect.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know, but that would be fun.
That'd be just you like putting that kind of stuff together. That might be kind of a fun deal. But I want to make sure that the Bummer Delsing rematch is happening inside of that. So there would be a drama inside of the drama.
Ooh. Man,
that's a lot of drama.
That's a lot of drama. All right, so let's go ahead to this Adam Kramer interview. This is a fun interview. Adam is the VP of the amusement division of Golden Tee. So this game's been around since 1989, and man, it's hard to imagine if we ever do get to go back into a bar. These games.
We're going back in a bar.
We are. Well, this is kind of like a bar right now. Anyway, let's go to that Adam Kramer interview. We could all use some amusement right now, Burrow. Can you help us out?
Yeah, no kidding. And I'm with you there. I'm lucky. I've got a game in my house, and I've played this game for 15 years, and certainly now having one in the home, and that's something a lot of people are doing these days. It's great having a mobile device. So, like our core brand is bars, and it's hurt, right? It's hurt all of us. It's hurt the bars and locations as places have closed, now open, of course. But, Golden Tee's diversified. So Golden Tee, we're trying to make it so it's not just you don't have to go down the street. If you want to do that, please do. We encourage you to do it safely when you can and if you want to. But we're also trying to hit younger players on their devices and, sell games into the home and do different things because, like you said, we do feel strongly about the brand. Of course we do, and we want as many people to play it in as many different forms as possible.
Yeah, right on. So, Adam, this is so cool because in 1989, Golden Tee was created. And Peter Jacobson is a good friend, and he hasn't been on the show yet, but he will be. And we saw him come out with his, picture on this game, and we were like, what? In 1989, golf, Tiger didn't come out on the scene until 96, and golf was okay. It didn't explode like it did with Tiger, but this game has been around and had some great success, and there's hardly anybody that loves a game of golf that doesn't have some sort of cool, fun story around a Golden Tee game in a bar somewhere.
It's a great way to put it. Peter Jacobson, by the way, is like one of the ultimate Golden Tee ambassadors. I saw him at the PGA merchandise show, and he wants to come over and just talk about the history, and he's a part of that history, a big part of it, because he's been around the game since, really not long after its inception. I mean, you're talking about 31 years of a game that really started. I'll do a little history lesson because I can't help myself. I'm a geek when it comes to this stuff. Golden Tee at its core was supposed to be a golf simulator. They wanted to make it so you'd actually swing the club, and they couldn't get it just right. So the plan of having the ball, the track ball, was kind of a backup plan. And they said, you know what, let's try and do it. And goodness, I'd say it was like one of those things where you're sort of stumbling into success in the best way possible. And I love video games. I love golf. I love golf video games, obviously. I think the thing that's always separated Golden Tee is, unlike, console games where it's a joystick or something else, and there's been some great ones. The Tiger Woods series has been great. All the other things have been great. But in Golden Tee, because you hit it, there is some feeling that you're like, you have a little bit more control of your results, both good and bad, than any other game you've ever played, any other game I've ever played, in any console or anything else. It is interactive. It feels good. And then the part of it that's great beyond the game itself, I think the spirit of golf, like when I play golf, and I'm a hack, but I love to play. I'm out there to drink some beer with my buddies, have a couple cigars, escape for a little bit, no matter how good or bad I play, and usually it's not great. And I think the spirit of that kind of carries over to Golden Tee no matter how you play, right? It's after work, and this is all the pre-COVID era. Lord knows what it'll look like now, but we'll get back to it, where it's after work. It's on a Thursday at 4 o'clock. You go to your local B-dubs. You play a game or two of Golden Tee. You have a couple of beers, and maybe you do the thing the following week. Like there's just this camaraderie that we see within our community from serious players, not so serious players, that I've always enjoyed. It's what drew me into the product, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and Adam, that's a cool history. 31 years is ridiculous. And video games don't typically stay around that long. And who would have known that, what Larry and Jim created all those years ago is, prior to this weird time we're in right now, still going strong.
Yeah, it's a remarkable. There's not many games, right? Madden is right in that discussion. I'm sure there are a couple other games. Jim Zielinski has designed every Golden Tee course ever created. He still designs it still. In fact, I have a call with him here shortly to talk about his new courses, because I've started to play them, just to give him my thoughts on it. And, again, I geek out of this. That guy geeks out even more. Larry is very involved with the product. In fact, we have some things coming, some really exciting things that Larry is as involved with as ever, and has moved around through the various parts of Incredible Technologies, our company, et cetera. So Larry is entrenched in this. That's really the cool thing. The people that started this, for the most part, are still working on it. Larry and Jim are at Golden Tee's core, and again, 31 years later, still doing it. Our ownership, Elaine Hodgson and Richard Ditton, who were programmers and really involved in the trenches of creating our company, not just from a business standpoint, but from a creation standpoint, are still involved in this. So I think I say this a lot. I think we give off the impression of being a lot bigger than we are. It's a testament to the games we've made, and Golden Tee is obviously the flagship of it. But yeah, like I've worked at this company now for 12 years, and I still feel like I'm relatively new in some regard because of how involved people are. And look, at the same point of that, there's a reputation here. There's an expectation. Like we want to live up to that. In fact, we think we've got some ideas and concepts, some out now and some that will be out, that are going to carry this product deep into the future.
And it should. I'm visiting with Adam Kramer. He's the VP of the amusement division for the Golden Tee golf video game, and we were talking about Larry Hodgson, and Jim Zielinski, that were the guys that kind of founded this thing. And man, one of the things that strikes me whenever I think, it's hard for me not to smile, hard for me not to laugh when I think of the game, because there's a couple of bars that I happen to snubble into from time and time again. And I can't tell you how many times there's some sort of ruckus with a crowd gathering around a Golden Tee game, and it's almost like you're out playing on the golf course. People are giving each other grief. There's a wager or two that's been known to go on. Love it.
That is really at its core what Golden Tee is. And you're right. I think the way the game has marketed itself is by the people who play it, right? The greatest advertisement for Golden Tee is a group of people, spirited players playing the game of Golden Tee and other people watching them, right? It's an interactive billboard. And so that has always been, that's how I got involved, right? I started playing in college, and I saw the bartenders playing each other for a beer after work. And I said, hey, can I join you guys? I'm terrible. And they said, sure, but losers got to buy the beer. Well, okay. And I learned, right? And I learned, and all of a sudden, maybe a couple of beers were being bought my direction, right? That again, I love that part of it because it is a scene. And also too, you watch people play, and there are people who play this quote unquote professionally, right? Much like real golf, everybody's got a different style. People who are hitting the cabinet with their hand, people who are using their thumbs, people who are winding up, people who are moving so radically. And we're talking about professional guys that hit the game and the ball so hard, it seems like shake the earth in which they stand on. So I've always appreciated that too, is it's really a game about personality. You can dress your golfer in the game to match what personality you'd like to watch. You can dress like an astronaut. You can dress ridiculous. You can dress serious. You can play the clubs you want. To me, as someone who's always been a hack in golf, to me, it's always been like, okay, this is the golfer I'd like to be, right? This is the person I'd like to be, and this is kind of the personality I'd like to have. And I'm able to do that in this game, and I'm able to keep track of my stats and play other people, right? So it really is, it really does highlight all the things that most of us can't do on a golf course.
That's going to wrap up the front nine. And stay with us. We've got just a little bit more from Adam Kramer, and then Pearlie and I are going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm going to give you my takes on the match, too, that are going to be completely out of the box, so to speak. So come back with Golf with Jay Delsing.
The 100,000-watt blowtorch for St. Louis sports, driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the 30-day return. WXOX and WXOX HD1 in St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
Are you in the market for some new clubs? Maybe a bag and the latest style of sweet new shoes. Is this the year you decide to stop listening to your buddy's advice and get some real golf instruction? If any of these appeal to you, then go to Pro-Am Golf today. Pro-Am Golf has all the latest gear from all the major manufacturers. Call Steve today at 314-781-7775 and schedule a lesson with Tom DeGrand. Tom is the best. He's been in the game for over 50 years, so you take that knowledge along with their state-of-the-art equipment, and boom, your game will get a whole lot better. Visit them at ProAmGolfUSA.com.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business and over $2 million alone to Delsings.
We're halfway there. It's time for the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Back Nine is brought to you by St. Louis Bank.
Welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Pearlie sitting right next to me, and we are going to the Back Nine. Pearlie, brought to you by our friends at St. Louis Bank. We're going to jump right back into just a little bit left of this Adam Kramer interview. He's the VP with Golden Tee. So let's jump in and listen to the last little bit of that interview. It always amazes me, Adam, when you pull up the screen and you look at some of the numbers and these guys' names that keep coming up. You're like, dude, how much time did you spend at this game? But did you ever think you'd have to make the GT trackball out of like some sort of rugged material? Because, like you said, guys are pounding on that thing in bars now.
I had a player somewhat recently send me a snapshot of, kind of his stat screen, and he told me he just hit his 10,000th hole-in-one. 10,000th hole-in-one, right? It's remarkable. I mean, when you think about just the amount of time and also the skill involved, the one thing our game has done well throughout, and now we're in a version, the game we sell to bars and the home is called our showpiece cabinet. So you just, it's basically, the cabinet, but it hooks up to a flat screen TV. And really, these things are tanks. I admire the way that these games have been built, long before I started being involved in that kind of stuff, to withstand the atmosphere of the bars, right? In the home, it's a little bit different. We're not expecting you to eat a plate of chicken wings and then work over to your cabinet, but if you do it,
or spill a pint of beer down the front of it.
Yeah. So it's these things have been, 30 years is a long time of gathering data and information about how people are going to abuse these things or use these things. And you're right. So far, for the most part, the Golden Tees hold up exceptionally. It is amazing because there's games out there for, decades that are still out there, still being played and take a beating every other day or so. And it's remarkable to see.
Adam, there has to be something put on the next game version that you guys come out with, and I know you're creating new stuff all the time, where you get some sort of association with a cocktail versus your handicap. So you know how everybody gets better. We all get better in our own mind. We're like, oh, after that second beer, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And your friends look at you and go like, dude, you suck.
My putting gets better. I get a little loose after maybe that second beer, right? The putting is good. There is that perfect balance of intake and output in Golden Tee. And it's fun to talk about the future. Like, the future in some of the instances is now. Like our bar game, our home market is going crazy. And look, because of everything with COVID, of course, the demand for putting games in their home is really high. The demand for our mobile version of our game, which is not in any way meant to replicate what it is at the bar. To try to replicate that would be a mistake. This is a game that looks like Golden Tee. The mechanics are somewhat similar when talk about curving the ball, but this is its own game for people to play, whether they're on the road or they're sitting on their couch or whatnot. We released the images, and we're working on the final details of a product that's called Golden Tee Go, which is basically a portable version of the bar game. Take that classic cabinet, cut it into about a third with the control panel of the ball. It's Golden Tee you know and love, but now you can put it on a coffee table, which is really cool, and that will be out very, very soon. And again, some of the other stuff we're working on, one thing in particular, an announcement we'll make probably in the next 2 months, I think is gonna blow Golden Tee fans away. I think it'll be really, really exciting. I don't want to overstate it, but I can't help myself. So I think, again, the important thing is for us to really continue to push the limits, continue to grow our audience, continue to, maybe get people back, people that played once that have maybe moved on to other games. Well, no, we want you to come back in and play. We want to do that, and we think we kind of have the fleet of different options to play to hopefully capture some of that.
Adam, tell our folks, guys, this is Adam Kramer. He is the VP of the amusement division with the Golden Tee video game. Adam, tell everybody where we can find you. And any other of those little teases. I love those little teases that you tossed out there about things to come and how they can get some of these games for their homes or their businesses.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of funny. We're everywhere now, right? So our goldentee.com website is our home, but really I think the best spot for this is on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram. I'm doing videos and different walkthroughs on YouTube from my home, where I'm streaming my games on YouTube, having a beer, answering questions. It's probably the most fun I still have, where I can just get out there and play a game of Golden Tee. My Golden Tee game is better than my regular golf game, by the way, which is good. People wouldn't want to watch me play real golf. So really, social media, you should follow us across the board. The thing that you mentioned that is interesting that we've seen the boom in is our home game, and that's home.goldentee.com. if you've ever been interested in putting a cabinet in your home, you should check it out and just see what it has to offer. It is the same game you see in the bar, and it's kind of an exciting thing. But really, some of the announcements that we have coming up, you can find us on social. And if you want to download the game for your mobile device as well, goldentee.com/Apple and Android, and check it out. Again, we don't want to present it as if you've played this game in the bar for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's going to be different. Of course it is, but it can give you your Golden Tee fix, and we can all use that time to time.
Well, Adam, I really appreciate you joining me. And when I get Peter Jacobson on the phone, he's one of the best storytellers I've ever met in my life. And he could probably talk about a Golden Tee everything for over an hour. And I'll have to see how that goes.
I actually just sent Peter Jacobson and his crew an email this morning in regards to some of the stuff we have coming. And you're right, Peter's such a better. That's the guy you want to talk to because that man has lived it. But yeah, it's exciting, and looking forward to connecting with him in the future too.
Okay, so Pearl, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview with someone from Golden Tee, first of all, the game has been around for 31 years, but our friend Peter Jacobson was instrumental in getting associated with this game, and I can remember going into bars and watching people sit around this game, Pearl, and they're actually playing it like it's a match, and guys are betting and drinking and screaming and yelling, and the only thing they're not doing is throwing clubs because they don't have any there with them. But we mentioned it in the interview where I said, I don't know how many times I've been into places and seen this happen, and it just, it's fun.
I'm aware of it. We've been aware of it for forever. I only played it a couple times, and I don't know why. Maybe because I like to think I played real golf. But plenty of guys that played regular golf and played all the time absolutely loved it. It's just one of those fun hangout games and tournaments and everything else.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. And then they're adapting some. They're adapting a lot. He actually told me off the record that around July there's going to be an announcement from the company that they are over the moon excited about. And he asked if he could come back on. I said, sure, we'll pop him on somewhere and see what that looks like.
You see where the lineup is if you got time for him.
We're pretty busy over here. We
a lot of bookings.
We got a lot of bookings. We got some good stuff going. All right, so let's get back in. I want to talk about the match too. Here's some of my takeaways from that. First of all, we've got to have in-round interviews. We've got to have those. I think, look, they're not going to be as lighthearted when the guys are playing with partners and things like that. But I think it just adds a lot to it. And there's time, John. There's nothing but time, right? I know this because I've been out there. You get a guy walking off the tee on a par 5, he's got 350 yards to get.
Don't they do it once in a while, though? Isn't there little interviews once in a while? Where am I seeing that, remembering that from?
They may
kind
have
of European tour. Maybe it's a little bit more.
It is
more familiar.
And Graham McDowell got penalized for it or warned because he gave an interview to Sky TV and our buddy Rich Beam, and they said you took too long. You didn't. That's
sure
cuckoo. But I just think so. John, going back to the early 90s, we had this put in front of us all the time. The other thing is players and caddies mic'd. And
well, you see the other sports, it's the same way. They're trying to interview the coaches, the hockey coaches during the game or, right before the period or right towards the end.
Same with the managers in MLB.
Trying to get the football players mic'd up. There's normally, one player on each side mic'd up each time.
You need a button.
And of course, but most of those have been pretty lame. So I appreciate that they're pressing for it, and I think they need to. We don't need to, especially with what this country just went through. We don't need to. We want to take our sports seriously for sure, but we don't need to be serious all the time.
Right.
And we can kind of cut up and lighten up a little bit. So I'm with you. I can see that there's a lot of it, but there's so much protection, and the agents protecting these different players, and the wives protecting the golfers. Who knows? Who knows?
So, and my last thing that I think is so awesome is this thing called either drone racing Or
I think this is cool.
Yeah, it is. So, folks, check this out. They've got these drones, and they've gotten good enough at tracing these golf balls. And so the ball is hit, and this drone takes off with this ball, and you're watching this thing fly through the air, over trees, over water. Is it going to carry? Is it not? And then it gets on the green, hits the green, and it focuses right down on top of the flagstick, Pearl. It is, and we talked about this before we got on the show. The golf ball goes up to a point, and then it really almost falls straight down, especially with the irons. The driver might be a tiny bit different because it can be hit a little lower at times.
It still drops, though. I mean, when the energy's gone, the energy's gone. It doesn't have this soft far side of a slope coming in the flight. It just drops off. But I hit a snap hook about 2 days ago that no drone can follow.
No.
So it'd be kind of funny, too, when you got these drones, just like the Tracer. Sometimes...
Oh, yeah, the Tracer looks like somebody had a seizure with the Tracer.
Or they didn't pick it up.
Or Tom Brady.
Well, he didn't pick up
All you need to do is have the Tracer head straight off to the right of the screen, and you can see it. But this technology is going to be integrated, and it's just a matter of how. The other thing, John, that I think is interesting is that you've got Tiger Woods standing over a 12-foot putt. There is going to be a time where on the screen is going to be, boom, this is what Tiger's make rate from not only this week, from the entire year, and then you're also going to have, and this is going to take a lot of work, but I think it'll happen. And then you have the average tour player, or the top 5 or 10, and you have this stuff all dialed in at the beginning of each day. Because when we're doing our prep and stuff, when we're going through rounds of golf and getting ready for a particular round, and they're going to say, Delsing, you've got, Dustin Johnson and, so-and-so, Julie Inkster, you're going over here. And so we're all up about their stats and all up, so if we're looking at their 3-putt percentage from outside of 30 feet, all that stuff a
lot of potential with technology to really change things up. A lot of potential.
Well, and here's the other thing, John. It's a lot has to do with gambling. A lot has to do with gambling.
That's
DraftKings. Yep.
They pumped DraftKings up a lot during the match.
Well, they were betting. It was on. I mean, everybody's looking. You got to remember the casinos are down, and everything is down. So, FanDuel and DraftKings are the leaders in that sport, and they are targeting golf because of the slow nature, where they're going to be able to build these little mini things, situations where you're going to go, if he hits a green here, you get. I
want to start seeing that. I want to see heart rates. I want to see how many times you blink. I want to see some bodily function results as well. Yeah, put it all on there.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
They used to do. Somebody did a heart rate one years and years ago, and somebody was just racing.
Well, sure.
When you're standing over that putt, everybody's
talking about it. We've talked about this. Yeah. Oh yeah, how cool he is under pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe, but his heart's still beating through his chest. That's what I want to see about it. So that people get off of that whole thing.
I know that's an odd take away from that match.
No, but that's a Jay Delsing golf with Jay Delsing.
The other thing is, John, this thing has been kicked, dragged down the road, and
nobody talked about this stuff though.
No, so that's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's going to wrap up the back nine. So stay with us. We've got a big celebrity coming in for the Whack and Chase today.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. So that's going to come up in the 19th hole. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Dan McLaughlin, TV voice of the Cardinals. St. Louis is one of the best sports cities in the country. We also have a tremendous history of supporting professional golf. We're excited to bring golf back to St. Louis with the inaugural Ascension Charity Classic, September 28th through October 4th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Don't miss your chance to see PGA Tour champion legends. Proceeds will benefit St. Louis area youth, including the Urban League, Marygrove, the Boys and Girls Club, and more. For tickets and sponsorship information, head to AscensionCharityClassic.com.
For the last 48 years, Pro-Am Golf has been providing outstanding customer service to the greater St. Louis area for all of our golf needs. From top-of-the-line equipment to full-service club repair, lessons, and instructions. They now have their own retail outlet as well as state-of-the-art computers, cameras, and things to customize all of your personal club fitting needs. Pro-Am Golf carries all the major brands. They also have the latest fashion trends from Puma Golf. Whatever your needs, Pro-Am Golf will meet them and have the best customer service in the industry. Call us at 314-781-7775 or find us at ProAmGolfUSA.com.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business and over $2 million alone to Delsing's.
I want to thank Donahue Painting and Refinishing for supporting the show. When I was out playing golf, in my mind, I would see a picture that I wanted, and I'd try to hit the shot the way it was painted in my mind. The way you see your home is what Donahue Painting and Refinishing can make your home look like.
Grab your friends, a cold one, and pull up a chair. We're on to the 19th hole on golf with Jay Delsing.
The 19th hole is brought to you by Sniper Brand Golf.
Welcome back. It's Golf with Jay Delsing. Pearlie is with me, and we are on the 19th hole. Pearl, you got a cold one?
I got a cold one, all right.
Grab a cold one. And the 19th hole is brought to you by Sniper Brand Golf. Meet.
Finally got him.
Look at that hat.
Finally got him. I got golf balls. I got a golf hat.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't have a hat, and I don't have any golf balls.
No.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
And then you asked me about how I like the logo. What do I care about the logo? How does it look on me? It looks great on me.
How do you like my logo?
Yeah, exactly.
And Meat's dragging that thing around the ESPN
I like the flat bill he's got going, the flat bill,
right.
kind of a little
bit cockeyed. You got to make sure all those boys on the fast lane are knowing about that hat.
It's got the mesh on the back.
Yeah.
Nice.
In case you got a little larger head, you get to adjust that.
How many golf balls did you get, Meat? A dozen.
I got a dozen.
Double check. There might be like 9 in there. He may have taken a sleeve out.
Swap some?
Well, maybe.
Well, some are slightly used, but that's not that.
Yeah, exactly.
I cut some with the lawnmower. Anyway, you got to check out that new golf ball. It's great. It's cheap. It is. I just got some numbers from our friends at Golf Tech, and they were hitting some tee shots with us, and that ball for distance is as good as a Pro V.
I'll never know.
Yep. No, you won't. And we're going to keep that going, Meat, because this is kind of fun. Pearlie's out, and you're in.
Hey, one other thing I want to talk about. We're talking about odd events and things like that. I know you want to mention the tour starting up again in a couple of weeks. What about Kisner taking on the 3 or 4 other guys on a best ball? Did you even hear about that?
I did. Phenomenal.
What was the result? I listened to a little bit when they were kind of updating.
I did not see the end result, but I did tune into something on social media where it was not filtered, so to speak, and it was awesome. It was really awesome. There was a lot of Southern going on over there, and you could imagine they were slinging.
Well, we all say there's a lot of things going to come from this virus time with this country, and hopefully an awful lot of good things. When you get 5.8 million people tuning into that other match, and then things like Kisner pulled off, there's going to be a lot of other shots at trying to make this happen.
Well, here's another thing that did get mentioned a lot, John, but we didn't mention it. Between the Taylor, the match too, $20 million for charity.
Good for them, yeah.
$20 million. That's incredible. And the TaylorMade, driving relief was $4 million. So in 2 weekends, we got
$24 million, baby.
6 professional golfers and 2 celebrity quarterbacks raised $24 million. Yeah. That's awesome. The tour is starting up. I've been following it closely. It is a massive undertaking, but they're taking it on. They're taking it on. We're getting some word that some of the other sports in the NHL is making some consideration for some sort of modified playoff system with 24 teams, and the NBA is in conversations with Disney World down in Orlando to play in their complex, in their sport complex.
And who's dragging? What sport's dragging, which is pretty disappointing?
Baseball. Really
disappointing. Embarrassing, in my opinion. Embarrassing.
Well, there's no major sports ever had more work stoppages than the MLB.
They're fighting over money at a time that they shouldn't be fighting over money, and I'll tell you what, I hope it costs them big time. Unfortunately, these stoppages don't cost leagues and players big time, but I hope it does. Or more importantly, I hope they get it figured out and go play. That's wrong.
We've got to go to a whack and chase, and our big celebrity is
Meat.
If that's one of the best nicknames you've heard, then we need to reassess some things.
Well, we
here.
like it because we like the story behind it, which we will get to in a minute.
That's right.
So, Meat, tell us what is the question that you've got for Jay about your golf game.
Well, we've only got 15 minutes or so.
I know.
But,
we're going to narrow it down to one. And then I got some challenges for you while Jay is formulating his answer.
Goodness.
What do you need help on?
So I started playing golf about 2 years ago. I got my crappy set of clubs. I learned kind of the basics, and I upgraded last year. But I am constantly changing my game as I go. So I'll get out to the course. I'll be a couple holes in. I get kind of feeling my groove, and I guess I get away from what I learned before. I get away from what I know I should be doing because something feels right that day. So I change everything, and there's no consistency at all.
Okay, I can see Jay's perplexed with that one. We're going to need to give him a little bit of time, so we're going to do a couple things. One, to get you warmed up here a little bit.
Okay.
So I've got 4 or 5 questions for you. This is kind of a rapid-fire deal, and I'm looking for 1 2-word answers. Tell me when you're ready to go.
I'm ready.
How long have you played?
2 years.
How often do you play?
Once a week, once every 2 weeks.
What one word describes your game?
Puzzling. Is that fair?
Who taught you the game?
Ooh, I just kind of learned it on my own. I started playing. I played with
short
Randy
answers,
Carricker.
mate. Short answers.
Sorry. On my own.
Why do you play?
It's relaxing and fun.
Relaxing. Good for you. Great job on those answers. So let's get to the next thing.
Okay.
I can see Jay's starting to kind of come together. He's relaxing. I think he's kind of got the answer for you, but we got to get into a little bit. How in the heck did you ever come up with the name Meat?
So unfortunately, this wonderful name, it was given to me by somebody else. My first day on the fast lane, Brad Thompson told me, hey, there's way too many Brads in this office, so you can't be named Brad. So they took a picture of me, put it out on Twitter, and I'm kind of a hefty guy for those that haven't seen me. And I was even more hefty at the time. And immediately, maybe our first response, a listener said Meat. And 5 years later, it's stuck. It's evolved like Meat Snacks. I've even been called Meat Sack, which I am fighting against.
Yeah, fight against that one.
But here we are.
Well, thank you for that. And I can see that Mr. Delsing is ready to get you squared away for your game, maybe for the rest of your life. Here we go.
Oh, boy. No pressure at all. Hey, I mean, first of all, why couldn't Brad Thompson, just because he played in the big leagues and has a World Series ring, why the hell
he's a big
couldn't he?
shot, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, well.
He was there first.
Yeah,
so
there's another stuff.
Make the new guy change.
Right,
Embarrass the new guy.
Yeah, that's not right. Anyway.
Teammate he is.
So first of all, the fact that you're playing the game is great. I know you like it because off the air, we talk about it, and when you guys were down in spring training, you guys got out in the afternoon and played. And so that's the first thing. But tell me a little more about what happened to you when what do you mean by you start changing things? So like you are you talking about a swing thought, or are you talking about something that or you feel that works that you just abandoned?
Or you move from Bud to Miller. Which kind of change you're looking at?
That's usually the case. So I haven't played long enough to know my game really and know that my 7-iron gives me this, or my 8-iron gives me this. I don't have enough consistency for that. So when I get out on the course, a lot of times if I notice I'm slicing real bad, I'll try to move the ball depending on how I think I can overcorrect it. Or I'll change the way I drop my shoulder, whatever it is. I feel something, I'm like, that doesn't feel right. So I change it midway instead of just sticking to what I should be doing and what I've been taught and kind of, just hoping that it pays off eventually.
Yeah, so I guess the question is why, and don't even answer that why question because we all do that. I mean, it's a hard game. I think the thing that I would suggest is to stick with something. Like one of the things we talked about a couple weeks ago was I was messing around and moving your shoulder at setup.
Yeah.
And when you felt like you dropped your right shoulder at setup, you stopped slicing.
Yeah. Straight as can be.
100% real fix. 100% real fix. So one of the things that really does happen while we're playing, John, you can relate to this as well. You have to be able to kind of self-correct. while you're out there. It's a real thing. But if you go into a grab bag of 500 things, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. So I would go to one thing, maybe two things. Softening every part of your forearms and hands and grip is the best thing you can universally tell anybody, regardless of whether they're a good player or a beginner. Softening your wrist, because what happens inevitably is things start going haywire. We start squeezing the crap out of that grip. And as soon as that happens, nothing's going to work out well. I mean, when my dad was playing baseball and he was going well, he used to say the bat almost just flowed in his hands. And he said when it was going poorly, he said he felt like he was squeezing it so he could turn it into sawdust. Mm-hmm. And I said, damn, Dad, I wish you'd have known. I would have told you, And he's like, it makes so much sense. But that would be one thing that I would say to go to. The other thing is we got to form a basic fundamental plan for you. Ball position, you mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Crucial. There's a low spot where the club wants to go. Every single club wants to go. We got to get the ball there. So if your low spot is in the middle of your stance and you got the ball in the front of your stance, you got a problem.
Yeah, I used to have the ball about 3 inches in front of my lead foot.
Yeah,
like it was
and we've seen that a lot.
There.
Yeah, and so now you're reaching for the thing, and everything is either going to be a slice or hook, and hard to hit the ball solidly. So a real great rule of thumb is middle iron. Start with your 6 and 7 iron. Start dead smack in the middle of your stance. When the club gets longer and the shaft gets longer, move it incrementally, say a half an inch farther forward. So your 5 iron and your 4 iron, and I hope you don't even have a 3 iron, but your 3-wood and your driver get moved up towards your left foot. You're a right-handed golfer, right? And your 7 iron, your 8 iron, and your wedges get moved ever so slightly back towards your right foot. And don't vary off that ever.
Okay. So you mentioned the kind of the softness with the wrist.
Yep.
So I feel pretty good about that when I'm using my irons.
Yep.
But when I'm driving, the softness and the easiness kind of is relayed to a super slow swing because I want to kind of control it on the way back. But I feel like even swinging through, I'm concentrated on the softness part of it, and the swing is just super slow, and I don't really get that power. So how do I transfer that power or get that power elsewhere?
All that is this more than one question?
This is a long solution. That's what's making me nervous.
I love it. The thing is that what you don't realize is you don't have to swing hard to hit it far.
Right.
And that is where everybody gets screwed up. It's like if I don't put maximum effort into this thing swing-wise and swing speed, this thing's not going to get hit as far as I want it. And it's the opposite. What we need, Bud, is that smoothness, that rhythm, and the coordination, and you'll be blown away at how far you can hit it.
Okay. I think another thing, Brad, just from caddying for Jay and playing a little bit on top of that, some days the ball is going to fade, and some days it might draw or do something different. Different days we're going to feel different. Don't force it. Stick with the fundamentals, like Jay said, from your setup standpoint. And to me, the whole round is just what you said. Try to get softer and softer and softer, but stick with those foundational principles.
I mean, so many guys have told me I slice the ball or fade the ball, one of those two, 100% of the time, and I come out one day and I've got this little draw. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how much fun is it to play when you have that little draw? They're like, oh, I don't play it. Because I don't trust it. I'm like, if that's what you have that day, man, aim out to the right a little bit and go with it.
There's so many great players that they go with what they got. They go on the range, and you've heard Trevino talking about this. He would always say he's got 3 different swings. He just wanted to see which one felt good that day, and he used that one seriously. And it's kind of go with it. If we're the fade's fading more than usual, play it. If you're trying to force it straight or force it to draw, man, that makes for a long, confusing day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what our disclaimer is, Bud? If we help you on Whack and Chase, man, call the paper. Put us on Twitter. Tell everybody you know. And if you keep slicing that thing and keep playing like a meathead, tell them we never met.
I've never talked to you before. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for our show, Pearl. Meet. You got
job.
your golf game handled, dude. You got a new hat.
Now you got
awesome.
your hat. You got 8 or 9 golf balls in there that he gave you.
Game over.
I want to thank the Donahues, Kathy and Bob. Thanks for supporting the show. They do great quality work around your house. So you need help. You need your house looking great. Go to the Donahue Painting and Refinishing. And Pearlie, we will be back next week. We're getting closer to opening this thing up, man. Everybody stay safe.
Thank goodness.
Hit them straight, St. Louis.
That was Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Whitmore Country Club. Tune in next Sunday for more from Jay, John, and the other pros and experts from the golf world. In the meantime, you can find all of Jay's shows at 101ESPN.com as well as at jdelsinggolf.com.